Now, I don't know if you guys actually saw what Jason Acuna had to say against Disney about everything that's going on with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and those leaked photographs that are not even dwarfs, by the way. They are referring to them as seven magical creatures. We do know that he spoke up against Disney, which I really do respect him. He did it in a very professional way. Go ahead and check it out. It's all over online. But before we get to all of this, we know that there's a lot of big problems arising out of Snow White 2024 and how Disney is taking action due to the backlash that's ever evolving. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into the subject, shall we? Now, we know that Disney is going through a major change-up for Snow White, through the merchandise, to the promotional aspects, to the marketing team. There's a lot of firings happening left and right for this movie. We're going to be covering some new developments surrounding this film, and exactly why it may very well spell doom for this movie on Disney's end, because they're really in a catch-22. So, we know that there's a lot of things going on with, of course, Disney and Lucasfilm and everything related to it in that sense. Given that there are numerous, scenarios that they have to embrace, they could either A, cancel the movie, delay the movie, and rework it, or, if they really want to just be lazy, which I think that they will be, they're just gonna do nothing about this movie in the grand scheme of things, and really just release this thing in March of 2022, or 24, I should say. It was finished in 22. Now, on top of this, guys, what's really intriguing is that with Bob Iger and those high up at Disney dealing with the Snow White backlash and fallout, one major development surrounding this movie involves more firings for the Snow White film and a desperate attempt to save the movie from total failure. Now, after the leaked photos surfaced, Disney has been preparing to make endless revisions to the film as much as they can, but it's not going to be enough. This includes now the firing of many of the singers, the sound crew, the recording artists, and more that handled the remixed version of the iconic song Hi-Ho from 1937's film. Now, originally, Disney had created a pop version of that song with brand new lyrics that were going to be dubbed over the seven actors portraying the magical creatures. Now, guys, I don't know if you guys were aware about this. We talked about this briefly just yesterday. They did make a pop version of the Hi-Ho song with new lyrics that was reportedly worse than the Scuttlebutt song from The Little Mermaid, and I did challenge a lot of you guys to go ahead and check out that Scuttlebutt song if you guys want to go ahead and do so. It gives you an idea of how cringe these songs really are by Disney, and this apparently was going to dethrone The Little Mermaid's Scuttlebutt song on the cringe level. So, I can see why Disney is racing to completely rework this song, getting rid of all of the singers, the recording artists, the sound mixers, whatever have you, getting a whole new team to rework this thing. And we're going to talk about why they're in a catch-22 in a second. Now, on top of that, Disney is on a course of vanquishing anything that they believe will cause more backlash down to a minimum, and they are pre-planning on reworking the entire song the best that they can to make it somewhat acceptable to the audience. The song was reportedly a failure during some of the test screenings for The Little Mermaid. Of course, we know that that was a big part because the Scuttlebutt song really failed during the test screenings as well. Same exact thing applies here with the test screenings for the Hi-Ho song. Same exact thing, it failed. But the thing that Disney made a mistake with The Little Mermaid is that they kept that to the general public with the Little Mermaid song during the test screenings, and they allowed it to go into, of course, the, internet, on the internet, throughout all forms of media. Everybody is able to listen to it, and that just gives you an idea of how ignorant and stubborn Disney really is. However, the catch-22 here is that the ongoing writer's strike and everything going on with SAG is getting in the way of Disney, and if they can't remake the song in time, they will have no choice reportedly than to keep the song in this movie. Now, this is where they get very stubborn, alright? Now, reportedly, regardless, the reworked version of the song, they still refuse to make it respectable to the original 1937 song. They still want to make it, a remix or something different than the original, but not quite as bad as it is right now behind the scenes. They're just trying to tone it down a bit, make it a little bit more tolerable, but they still want to do something of their own. That just goes to show you that they truly just don't care, period, about their legacy and where Disney really all started in the cinematic sense of things, right? Moving forward, in a shocking turn of events, the original title was indeed Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs back in early 2022. The Dwarfs subtitle was erased once they deleted the concept of the dwarfs and embraced the magical creatures. Disney also is firing artists creating the promotional work of this film, such as banners, posters, standees, and more, with a new team of those up for hire to rework their style for the marketing. The Hi-Ho song was described to be a tune similar in style to that of a pop artist and worse than the Scuttlebutt song for The Little Mermaid, with Disney now panicking over hiring a whole new crew to remake this song. The odds of making it in time are slim, with the strikes going on endlessly unless they delay this movie until either the summer or the fall of 2024. Now, I don't know if you guys knew this, but the reason why that this movie has been in such a hiatus is it was finished filming, mind you, back in July of 2022. Just let that sink in for a moment. July of 2022 is when they ended filming, and ever since then, they've really been trying to figure out, alright, how does this work or how does that work with the Hi-Ho song or the transformation scene with Gal Gadot? We'll be talking more about that later on. Mark Webb, the director, by the way, of this movie, who's also the director of The Amazing Spider-Mans 1 and 2, did something very specific with the transformation scene for Gal Gadot, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later because it's very involved. But one thing that bothers me here about this is that they are really just refusing to do it very accurate to the original 1937 song. So though they will be toning down this pop music version of Hi-Ho with new lyrics, it's still going to be a cringeworthy song. It's still going to be apparently a pop song, but it's not going to be quite as severe. And I think that's a very big mistake on their end. What they really should do, just keep it to the original. It's so hard to just have a little song that is like accurate to the original 1937 movie. I don't know why Disney has a problem with that, but if they can't get to things in time, they have two choices. They're going to either keep in that cringe version of the song, or they're going to delete it entirely from that movie. And you know what? I think they should just delete it entirely and just call it a day without the Hi-Ho song. I mean, it's not going to do much, fixing, but it'll at least keep that out of the general public's minds because of what Scuttlebutt did to the mass amount of people out there that tuned into the song. So, I think it's a very interesting time that we have all these people like Jason Acuna speaking up, and others out there that are also speaking up against Disney. I'm very proud of them. They're being very professional about it, very much so as well. So guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time. From night to moon.